Hey, Cheryl, thank you so much for being here today. We're super excited to get to interview you. I would love if you could introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Um, I have a master's degree in social work, and I studied child development during that. I use those insights to inform my picture book writing. And I also have a master's degree in journalism, and I've been working in public relations for the past 15 years or more. And I'm a member of the Society for Children's Book Writers and Illustrators and Children's Book Insider. And my first book, Baby Dragon's Big Sneeze, is children's rhyming picture book, was published in October of 2022.
Love that. I would love if you could tell us more about what your book's about.
Sure. Okay, so the premise of the book is a baby dragon flying around and having a grand old time. And one day he gets a cold. He catches a cold and he sneezes and accidentally burns down a village. And all the villagers are very upset and mad at him and want to attack him. But a little girl in the town, it doesn't make sense to her. Why would he be perfectly fine and friendly and harmless, and then all of a sudden decide to harm them? So she goes to his cave to confront him and get his side of the story, and finds out that he just had a cold and he sneezed and it was an accident. So she advocates for him with the townspeople, and they actually work together to help him get well. And then in return, he helps them rebuild. So it has messages of friendship and reciprocity and not making assumptions about others until you know the whole story. It has a lot of social emotional learning messages in it.
Love that. What inspired you to write your book?
Well, interestingly, about 13 years ago, I was walking down the street and I had a really big sneeze myself. And I had the ridiculous thought that it's a good thing I'm not a dragon, because if I were, this would have done a lot of damage. And then I sort of laughed at myself and thought, okay, well, this is a picture book. This seems like a good premise. And so I wrote a first draft, kind of put it away, didn't do anything with it for many years, and then tried traditionally publishing it, which was not successful. And then last year, finally decided to go ahead and self-publish. And right now, a lot of famous people are celebrities are traditionally publishing children's books, and they're sort of taking the spots away from regular folks who don't have the name recognition to get their books traditionally published, particularly children's picture books. So I feel that self-publishing really levels the playing field and gives regular people a chance to get their stories told and heard.
Love that. When you were writing your book, who were you thinking of when it comes to who your book is for?
For children ages 3 to 7 or 8 and their families.
Love that. How long have you been writing and what made you really start?
I've been writing my whole life, all different types of stories. So I write a lot of personal essays. In fact, I have a personal essay that's in two anthologies that are also, it's an adult, personal essay that's in two books that are also available on Amazon. One of them is called Lost Souls Found: Inspiring Stories About Chihuahuas, and the other one is called Second Chance Dogs: True Stories of the Dogs We Rescue and the Dogs Who Rescue Us. And both of those anthologies have a story in it a personal essay that I wrote about a dog of mine that I had in the mid 2000s, who starred in the Boulder Dinner Theater's production of The Wizard of Oz, starred as Toto. And it was about my experience being a stage mom to a dog. And that was a really fun experience. But throughout my childhood, I used to always write poems and things for family members when it was a birthday or anniversary or something. My sister and I both sing. And so growing up, we would change the lyrics to songs and harmonize and sing them for, make them about, whatever holiday was happening or something, and then dedicate those songs to family members and so on. So I've been doing that sort of thing my whole life.
Love that. What is your schedule like when you are writing a book?
Hmm. Um, I just write when the spirit moves me. I know that there are books out there that talk about morning pages, and you're supposed to write in the morning before you even go to the bathroom or do anything. That may work for some people, but for me personally, I just kind of go with my own bodily rhythms. And if at 3 in the morning I get inspiration to write something, I use my circadian rhythm and don't fight it, and I write when it comes to me. If I'm walking along and I get an idea for something, I'll either text it to myself or I'll say it into my voice recorder thing in my phone, so that's there, and then I can do something further with it later when I'm able to sit down and write. um and I write for a living. I do PR. So and having a journalistic background, before I did PR I was a business reporter, and so with those types of things there's no such thing as writer's block. You just have to get words on the page, and so that forced me to kind of um just do the sort of crappy first draft, what they call it, and just get words on a page and then edit later. So that's been very, very helpful to me.
Love that. What do you need in your writing space to help you stay focused?
Hmm. Um, well, I'm like a child in my own way, because I get cranky if I have not been well fed or if I haven't slept. So I just need my basic needs met. If I've eaten and slept and so on. Um, and that's about it. I have a little workspace in my bedroom, that I'm where I'm talking to you right now. I'm at my desk in my bedroom, so I don't have anything really fancy. Um, and I just type there. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of fancy needs. I know that there are some people who need to be in a closet.
Is it, you know,
They'll do they'll go into a walk-in closet and put their desk in there to be separated from other people and to have the quiet and things like that. Um, I don't really need all of those things. I mean, I do need to be in my own house. I don't think I could sit and write something inside a Barnes and Noble or a cafe or something of that nature. I need to be in a private space, but that's about it.
love that. What is your favorite writing snack or drink?
Hmm. Well, I don't you this has no video, right? So no one's seeing this. But I eat these Misfits plant-powered chocolate protein bars. They're vegan. I'm vegan. White chocolate cookies and cream. So that's a good snack. It's got a lot of protein in it. 15 grams of protein. So that's a nice snack to chew on while I'm writing. Um, I also they're called outstanding puffs. That's for if I want something salty, and they come in a bunch of different flavors, and they use pea protein. And so that's also got a lot of protein in it too. So that gives you energy. But it's really both of those, the chocolate bar and the puffs are really tasty and satisfying. So,
Love that. What type of books do you personally enjoy reading?
hmm. I like several different genres. I like things that are sort of ripped from the headlines, kind of almost like the book equivalent of Law and Order SVU kind of stuff. Like Jodi Picoult, for example. I like her stuff. Um, and so I like that for fiction. I also like to read a lot of nonfiction books about dogs and dog behavior. I have two dogs at home, and I'm a real dog lover. And about their communication styles, what their tail position means, and ear position, and what they're trying to tell us. I like things of that nature as well.
Love that. Are there any books or authors that inspired you to become a writer?
Hmm. No, but as a child, some stories that I really liked as a young child, I loved Charlotte's Web. When I was in high school, I remember loving A Separate Piece. That was a great book. I loved The Yearling. That was a wonderful book that I read in high school. Um, but so they all inspired me. The Red Tent as I got older. Um, what else? The Mists of Avalon. That was a wonderful book. as I got older. So those were all books that really inspired me in life and changed my outlook on certain things, but not necessarily made me think I want to become a writer, but they did have an impact on me as a person.
Love that. And you touched on this, but what type of books did you grow up reading? Did you have an all-time favorite?
Not an all-time favorite,
Yeah.
but those books that I mentioned all made a real lasting impression on me, and I still recommend them to people.
Love that. On the other side of that, now as an adult, what are your favorite series or authors that if they come out with something, you're going to automatically grab it?
Definitely Jodi Picoult. I love her work. Um, so she's somebody that I would definitely read. Um, and I can't think of any other names right now of people that I would necessarily. I don't go by a particular author. There are certain genres that I like. Also, another genre I like is cozy mysteries, and in particular, the cozy mysteries that deal with pets. There's some that have really clever names that have to do with, missing dogs or somebody who is a dog walker who comes upon somebody who's murdered or something. And those types of series I really enjoy. I also have a strange affinity for vampire stories. I really like vampires. So um, there's a series of books that's based in Chicago area about a Chicago vampire series or something of that nature. And so that's a really cool story. Those are really cool stories to read because um, interspersed in with real landmarks and very real things that exist in the Chicago area are these fantastical kind of creatures and things like that. So it makes it really believable for me because I live in the Chicagoland area. So I'll read about, oh, walking down such and such a street, there's this vampire and so on. So it makes it makes it more real for me because I know those places. So I enjoy that.
Love that. What would you tell someone just starting out with reading again?
Hmm. What would I tell them that I would recommend that they read or what? I'm not really understanding what you're.
Any advice you would give someone who's thinking about starting out reading again? They've read in the past, maybe they got away from it or they didn't enjoy it.
Hmm. Well, maybe a good thing to start with might be some short stories. If you don't have time to read one long novel, you can read, several short stories and just pick up a short story in a book full of short stories and go from there. Also, if you, I used to have this thing where when I would read a book, I wouldn't let myself read the next book until I was finished with the first book. And I wasted a lot of time and caused myself a lot of unhappiness. If I got about halfway through a book and I didn't like it, life is short. If you're reading a book and it's not grabbing you and you're, 100 or more pages in, give it to someone else, give it to a library and start with something else. There's no need to punish yourself by continuing to read a bad book that you're not enjoying because you paid for it or something. So that those are the pieces of advice that I would give.
Love that. On the other side of that, what would you tell someone just starting to write their own book?
Um, there's no rush. It took me 13 years to write the book that I wrote. So it's really your own sense of urgency that would guide you. So if you're starting to write your own book, um, you know, take as long as you need, use your own circadian rhythms. Know that you're not alone. If you choose to self-publish, self-publishing is sort of a misnomer, I think. When I started this journey of self-publishing, I really thought I would have to just buy some big tome called Self-Publishing for Idiots or similar. And I would just have to sit there by myself trying to figure out how to self-publish. And I was just overwhelmed by the process. But because I'm a member of Society for Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, SCBWI. They have videos on their website that members can access for free. And I was watching these videos, and one of the videos was a woman named April Cox, and she has a business called Self-Publishing Made Simple, where she will get on Zoom calls with people and walk them through the entire process. So you send her your manuscript, and she uploads it, on a Zoom call with you, or helps you do it, and walks you through how to send it to the Library of Congress to have it copyrighted, where to go to get those ISBN codes, that look like UPC symbols on the back of the book. All of those types of processes that you have to go through in order to get the book self-published, and how to upload it to Amazon and Ingram Spark and that whole universe. She explains all of that, and how to keep your rights to the book. And she also has vendors that she works with, um, uh, illustrators, editors, website designers, and so on. And so she can recommend people. And it just, I can't imagine trying to do that without someone like that in my corner. So, use your resources. There are also on Facebook, there are lots of groups, Facebook groups for people who want to self-publish, or people who traditionally want to publish, or whatever. Find other people, find your community, get advice from other people who have done this. Don't try to go it alone. That's my main piece of advice.
Love that. What's one thing that people are generally surprised to find out about you?
I think I'm pretty multifaceted, that I write, and I do PR, and I sing, and I'm vegan, and I am a real dog lover. My husband and I invented a product called the Pet Pedal Pull Cart, which you could attach to a dog's shoulder harness, and you put flower petals in it, and it's a wedding product that when the dog walks down the aisle, you can have the dog be your flower child in your wedding, and it disperses the flower petals out the bottom of this thing that we invented, called the Pet Pedal Pull Cart. And then so the dog actually becomes like your flower child in your wedding. So I think people would be surprised by some of those kind of things about me.
Love that. That's super cool.
Hmm.
Is there anything you would like to say or add?
I think also it's good to use your friends and family as a focus group. When I was looking for an illustrator, for example, with for my children's picture book, April, my mentor, had about 12 illustrators that she worked with, and I looked at all of their websites, and I narrowed it down to my top 4. Then she said, okay, ask them all, those top 4, to sketch the same scene from your story, just in black and white, and sketch it, give them each $50, and then lower it from, narrow it down from there. And so then I got down to my top 2, and I used my friends and family members, particularly those that have kids, as a focus group. And I said, which dragon do you like more? Which, and why? Which little girl in the story, looks better to you, and so on. And that's how I was able to find my illustrator. So definitely use your resources. Don't give up. Those would be my main pieces of advice.
Love that. Where's the best place for readers to find your book? I know some readers love signed copies. Is that an option and the best place to connect with you?
You can connect with me at info@be-kindpublishing.com. My Facebook page is be-kind-publishing.com. I'm on Instagram, be.kind.publishing. I have a website, be-kindpublishing.com is my website. And my book is available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Walmart.com, and Target.com. And it's Baby Dragon's Big Sneeze.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here today. We're super grateful we got to interview you. We'll be sure to drop those links in the show notes. That way everyone can find you. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.